Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make a paper mache kind of glue so that we can make a yarn bowl with our scrap yarn. So what you need is flour, sugar, and water, and then like a mixing bowl, a whisk, measuring cup, I also get tablespoon measure cup things, a saucepan, and obviously your stovetop. So let's make the glue first, and then I'll show you how to make the bowl itself. So also later on you're going to need tin foil and plastic wrap, like saran wrap, and some vinyl gloves. If you have rubber gloves, that would work best, unless you don't mind getting your hands dirty with putting them in the glue. So first thing you need to do is combine half a cup of flour. So let's get our flour. And just in a side bowl here, we're going to put half a cup of flour and 2 cups of cold water. So 1 and 2 cups of cold water in a bowl. Okay, then you want to boil 2 cups of water in a saucepan. Okay, so just put that on high and let that come to a boil. And then once that starts boiling, make sure this is all mixed together here. Okay, once that starts boiling, then we're going to add this. So let's wait till it starts to boil, and we'll be right back. Okay, now that our water is boiling, just stir this a little bit more if it starts to settle in there. So make sure it's all stirred up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pour this into here and stir, and then we're going to make sure it comes to another boil, and then add our sugar after that. So I'll show you here. Okay, so keep stirring. And then once that comes to a boil, it's going to be pretty fast, so keep an eye on it. Then once it starts to boil again, then you want to remove it from the heat and then add 3 tablespoons of sugar and stir that in. And when you start to stir it in here, you can definitely tell it's getting thicker. So then we're going to add our sugar. So that was 1 tablespoon, 2, and 3, and then stir that, and you can shut this off right away. Take it off of the stove, keep stirring it until you get all the sugar stirred in. And then you can set it somewhere and let it cool. It'll take about 20 minutes for this to cool. So let it sit for 20 minutes, and then I will show you what we're going to do with the yarn. Okay, so now we have our bowl. Our paper mache glue is cooled down, and you can see that it's like thicker. You don't want it to be too thick though, because it could get clumpy and gross. So It's perfect right now. I have gloves on because I don't want to get my hands full of the goop. So what you have to do, get your bowl. You can have any type, any size bowl, it doesn't matter, but you want to make sure that it is a smooth edge. So there's some bowls that have like a ridge around here or like a little lip over here or something to stand it on. You want it to be completely flat, okay? I got this bowl at the dollar store, so really simple. What you want to do is take saran wrap here and cover your bowl completely all the way around. So just cover it like this. And this is kind of a little process here. Okay. Depending on how big your bowl is, you just want to make sure that it is completely covered because you don't want to get glue on your bowl. Alright. Just like so. Perfect. So it's fully covered. Then set it down, and you want to put tin foil down so that your tabletop does not get dirty either. And make sure it's completely covered, and we're ready to go. So you can try your best to make this as flat and tight as possible so that it doesn't get any ridges or anything. Okay. So what I did is I have a ton of scraps of yarn because when I crochet I just snip off the ends. So I have all these scraps here from old projects that I just did. You can use one color of yarn, which is actually, I've seen projects where they take like scrap yarn and they take this glue and they like dip it in there and then they wrap this all the way around and make just one solid color, which is kind of cool. So you can do that. But this is a really cool scrap project to get rid of all your scrap yarn. So what I'm gonna do is take a few pieces in my hand like this and scoop up a little bit of this and just cover it completely. Coat them. Okay? And I like to start in the middle and work my way around. So just make your cool designs, whatever you like. And this is a fun project for little kids too, because the glue, even if they, get it in their mouths or something, it doesn't really matter because it's just flour and sugar, so it's not like harmful or anything. So just take your scraps and make cool designs or any type of thing really. And you just need a thin coat around them. Don't goop it up like a whole lot because that can look gross after. So just a thin coat and make sure all of them are touching, so that's how they're gonna like be glued together into this shape. So let's just grab some more yarn, and you can grab different colors. I mostly have brown right now for some reason. So you just want to goop it and clump it together. So just cover your entire bowl, bottom and around the sides, with all your yarn scraps, and then once you have it all done, then it's a waiting game basically, and you just have to wait until it all dries, which takes a very long time. I made one of these before and it took like over 48 hours for it to be dry. So what I ended up doing was taking like a hair dryer and having it on there, and then I set it outside in the sun for a little while, and so it would dry faster. But it ended up drying, and it's a really cool bowl, and it's basically just for decorative purposes. You can't use the bowl, obviously. You wouldn't be able to like eat out of it or anything, but this is really a cool project and a good time pass and fun for kids or families to just do something together if you're feeling crafty, want to keep the kids busy. So I'm just going to keep continuing to put this all together, and I will meet you back up when my whole bowl is covered. Alright, so I covered my whole bowl with the yarn, and it looks really cool. I made a few designs, so keep that in mind when you're making yours, is you can make fun designs, swirls and little things. On this side there's just a bunch of straight lines, so that's kind of cool. All different colors, so just make sure though that you use a thin amount of the coating of the glue stuff, and then just make sure everything's nice and flat, everything's fully covered. You can have little holes, like you can see there's like some holes. You don't have to completely cover and make sure that it's completely covered, but you can just make sure that each piece is connected. So in some way every piece is touching some other piece, because that they're going to be glued together. And then once this dries, then we are going to flip it and take the bowl out, and then take this saran wrap just peels right off. So let it sit for about 48 hours. If you would like, you can take a hair dryer to it if you want it to dry faster, but just if you're, you know, just doing your own thing, you can just leave it sit, and don't let it sit in a moist area, just let it sit indoors, and it should dry. And then once it's dry, you can enjoy your bowl. So thank you so much for watching, and enjoy your yarn scrap project. Okay, so it's been a couple days, so I'm just going to take out this bowl. Obviously it was easier than that when it was off camera. So make sure you gently take out your bowl, and then you want to start peeling away at this. And I started a little bit already, so just be very gentle. There's going to be some areas that are going to be a little bit flimsy, on the inside. So you just want to be really gentle with pulling this back. Once you've pulled all this back, you can discard the plastic wrap, and then you have your bowl. Now, the inside might be a little bit more damp still, so you may want to take like a hair dryer, and see, that's like really flimsy and still kind of wet because it was right next to the plastic wrap. So you want to just be really gentle. Alright, peel all that off, throw that away. This side is still kind of wet too, so I'm going to try and like hold this and probably clip it, and then just adjust this and just make sure you're just really gentle with it. But there's your bowl. So I'm going to take a hair dryer off camera and just dry this out because this is still pretty wet on just these 3 strands right here. So I'm going to dry this, and if it doesn't turn out for you, you know, you can always put the plastic wrap back on, put the bowl back in, make your more of that glue stuff, and try to cover as much of it as you can with that glue, and then again leave it sit for a couple more days. But for the most part, I mean, this is really pretty, so I'm pretty happy with it. So you can see the outside looks pretty nice. So I'm gonna just fix this side and enjoy my bowl. So thank you so much for watching.